Hello and welcome to Signal Online 8. Who can believe there have been 8 of these since the end of March? My name is Adam Lenson. I'm a director and producer based in London. And thank you so much for joining us, either live in the present or in the future on the restream. I'm a director and producer based in London that has spent the last, 5 years focused exclusively on new musical theatre and on the kind of the project of trying to create space for new writers to be able to present work that sort of redefines notions of what musicals look like, sound like, or are about. And for those of you who haven't joined us before, these concert series started in person at the end of 2017. We did 9 of them every 2 or 3 months. We did one with a house band at the H Club in London, and it was kind of modelled on things that I saw happening in America but not happening here really. Things like Joe's Pub and 54 Below, and I thought to myself, I wanted those sorts of nights where the community could get together and play new songs which people hadn't heard before, but play them in an environment where there were lots of people, so that we just stopped the kind of demo-itis where people just made demos and no one heard them. And yeah, when lockdown happened, we got forced online, and in 4 months have done 7 of these concerts and a collaboration with MT Pride and a few other concerts. And this is the beginning of the end of this, this season. We have called the ending. The ending will be August the 18th, which will be Signal Online 9, and this is Signal Online 8. So thank you so much for joining us on this penultimate evening. The reason to stop is to take stock and to have a think about what comes next. 9 concerts in reality, 9 concerts online, and we want to cook some stuff up for winter when we return. So this isn't the end of Signal. Signal needs to be here because there needs to be a platform for artist-driven new musical theatre, especially in the UK where there isn't. However, one of the awesome things about this series has been, because we're coming to you live, and because location doesn't really exist on the internet, we're able to bring in writers from other countries, and we have some of them tonight too. In fact, we're starting off tonight with one of them. So I don't think there's anything more to say up top, except, as ever, if you're settling in for the evening to watch, it would be really appreciated if you could maybe tweet or Instagram or story yourself watching it, or a picture. Tell people that you're here. Tell people the artist you're to support. The chat, no, I used the wrong hand. The chat on this side of the screen is live. So even if you're a little shy, do be in the comments. Applaud for people. Talk about whether you're having a nice time or not. Where in the world you're watching from. This is all about community, and I think one of the things about doing a live concert series in lockdown has been to create and nurture a sense of community, and to bring what was once sort of a London event global, and to bring in writers and audiences from wherever they want to be. Without further ado, it's time to introduce you to our first act. I was lucky enough to have him join us for Signal Online 4, and it's a real pleasure that he's come back. It's always nice when someone comes back. It means that they had a nice time. I met this writer at an ASCAP showcase in, I think it was 2015, and I was just so taken by his music. There are loads of his music is now on Spotify, which I really encourage you to listen to. I have been during lockdown. Without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to send you all the way to Astoria, Queens in New York, and to the incredible Alexander Sage Oyen.
Hello. Uh, my name is Alexander Oyen. It's very hot here in Astoria, so I decided to wear my flamingo shirt. This song is originally a duet from a show that I wrote called Proxy, but I'm going to try and do it as a solo, so let's see how it goes. Hey, would you go? You know if you could. You got a ticket to anywhere, a gift for doing good. Where would you go if you had the time? Because I tell you I'm going to Colorado to smoke weed on a mountain. I'd take the high altitude to smoke weed on a mountain. I'd climb to the highest heights, I wouldn't be counting. I'm going to Colorado to find who I am. You know, if you try, you'll think of a place. Oh, you're not into games right now, fine, try to save some face. But if I ask, would you come along? I wouldn't steer you wrong, wouldn't steer you wrong. I'd take you to Washington, smoke weed in Seattle, look for landmarks of Kurt Cobain, find cages to rattle. We'll listen to good grunge rock, 'cause life is a battle. I'd take you to Washington to find who I am. Oh, to see Big Ben, Tiananmen Square. Say where, say when, I'll take you there. A plane can fly us anywhere, it's true. Oh, Rome and all of Italy, there are some things I'd like to see. And oh, it'd be especially fun to be with you. And someday, we'll travel across the country. We'll smoke weed on the highway, spend a day in New York City. I'm doing it my way. We'll go to North Carolina, where food's made the fried way. We'll travel across the country to find who we are, to find who we are, to find who we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. That was awesome. Yeah, that was summer vibes. I want to be in America smoking weed right now. Hopefully, I will be at some point in the future of my life. So, thank you for coming back. And thanks again, audience, for joining us. What I would say, you'll see below me, I'm always terrible at doing this, there's a ticket link, alpmusicals.com/tickets. Obviously, this is streaming for free on YouTube, but if you're settling in for the evening to join us, we'd very much appreciate it if you could support our work by purchasing a ticket. We recommend £5. And there are also solidarity tickets or donation tickets for those of you who feel able to support those who potentially would love to be able to pay but are not in a great situation. Because I don't know if you've heard, theatre's not in the best of situations right now. Anyway, so it's weird. We were doing signals every 2 weeks. I was doing a concert every week. This is the longest gap we've had. I think it's been 2.5 weeks as we started slowly reclaiming some of our time to think about what comes next. So I'm slightly out of practice. I've forgotten how odd it can be talking to a green dot instead of a room of people. But I'm really thrilled that Signal offers an opportunity to meet new people and hear their songs. I think the great thing about having regular signals has always been you can meet someone or you can find someone and you can say, I really love what you're doing. And it would be awesome to be able to have you on Signal. And this next writer is one of those. I came across her work on social media during lockdown, and I just thought it was cool and different and, you know, representing characters that we don't always see in musical theatre. And I also really like the way that she had labelled her show a gig musical. I've often heard the term gig theatre, which always seems a slightly apologetic term to try and like make something clearly not a musical. We're cooler than musicals. But then again, I do think lately that trying to give a sense of the sort of show your audience is going to see is important. And I don't know, calling something a gig musical made it sound like something I would very much enjoy and wanted to see on Signal. So through the magic of the internet, I dropped her a line, and here she is for you tonight. So without further ado, I'm excited to take you to Lauryn Redding.
Hello, I'm Lauryn Redding. Thank you for having me, Adam. This is a song from Bloody Hell, the gig musical. The show is about a young working class queer woman who's coming out and coming of age in the north. And this song is called Losing Control. And it happens a part in the show when Elle, the lead character, decides that she wants to kind of tell this girl she kind of likes her, but also not. So she writes her a song, and this girl comes to the gig, and this is the song. It's called Losing Control. Enjoy. What was that? My heart just jumped inside my chest. It feels like cardiac arrest. To be honest, I don't know what to do next. 'Cause I found in the past that thinking too much can be a sin. So I'm thinking less and just doing what my heart believes in. I'm not tripping, 'cause my palms are all sweaty and I'm shaking, and I catch myself daily daydreaming, my head in the clouds and I'm flying. As time goes by, it's like I'm constantly high, and my heart is beating and my head is dreaming and my feet are tapping and my hands are clapping and I just stopped breathing. Am I losing control of it all? 'Cause I don't know if it lasts. It's like a spell has been cast, and I'm forgetting about all the shit in my past. And those eyes, I see them and I'm mesmerized, and I've taken myself by surprise. Maybe I've always been a sucker for green eyes. As time goes by,
Thank you so much, Lauren. That was amazing. Wow. It is so cool to yeah, what a great song. What an uh, amazing song, and I can't wait to hear more about that show. And I uh, those of you who've been to these concerts before will know I'm so interested in the way that people all assume that musicals will sound and look and be about the same things over and over again. People are like, oh, I know what a musical sounds like and I don't like it. And they don't have to. They can sound like anything, and that's such a good example of that, which to me just sounds like a bloody amazing song that you would hear at a gig, but one that is tied to character and narrative, which is so great. Yeah, the other thing I said it at the beginning, but I'll just say it again. This concert's live, which means we're subject to all sorts of madnesses. We're subject to people's internet connections. We're subject to the whims of Netflix. We're subject to people's computers, all sorts of things. But it's been important to me that these concerts are live, because there is something bizarre and strange about concerts made up entirely of videos and edited in advance. And they don't remind me of that feeling of being in a room with you all, and this sort of does for me, and hopefully it does for you too. And so I'll say, what's great is, if you like these artists, they have demos, they have websites, they hopefully will be performing live and making their shows in the future. But what I love about this is the opportunity to be with people at this time in their homes, wherever they are in the country and in the world, and I think that's pretty special. So thanks, Lauren, and thanks so much for joining us and joining the Signal family. And I can't wait to have your songs with us in a real world Signal with the house band at some point, because normally we have a house band. So shout out to them. We miss you, and hopefully you'll be back soon. All right, talking of dodgy internet connections, we are moving now to a stalwart of in-person Signal, a stalwart of Signal Online too, but someone with what can charitably be described as crappy internet. His song, in order to make us all feel a little better, is pre-recorded in one take earlier today, I think, but so nearly live, as close as live as can be. But we're bringing him in live to tell you about the song. Fingers crossed his internet will survive to make it coherent. If it doesn't, it's the first song of the show, so I think so. Hopefully it will speak for itself too. So taking you now to Bradford on Avon. There's no upon anyway, and Tim Gilvin.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, my internet in Bradford on Avon is dreadful, so hopefully you can hear me. But hello, world. So yeah, we've done this pre-record for you for this song tonight, which hopefully you'll enjoy. It was earlier today, same jumper. But anyway, this is so tonight is a brand new song from a brand new show, and I remember the first Signal I ever did, actually, back in 2018. Adam said, just use this as an opportunity to write something from the show idea that you've got that you just haven't had an opportunity to write something for. And that's exactly what I've done this time around as well. So it's a brand new idea, something that popped into my head. I had a bit of time the other week and came up with this new song. So the idea is that we might build a show around the character of Britannia. So that is the personification of the island of Great Britain. And she becomes confronted somehow in the show with the crimes of empire and the myths on which our sense of national pride is based. So it's kind of big ideas, and who knows where it's going to go. But in this song, Britannia is just sort of introducing those ideas to an audience or a group who just think, let's straighten this out once and for all and work out what it is to be British beyond the end of empire, if it means anything at all. So, nice, simple, low-key themes. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. Enjoy.
When the Romans first brought me here, I was a strange young thing. Modelled on Minerva, proud chest, strong chin. They forged me on their currency, idolized me, couldn't help it. With my toga flowing in the wind, and my spear and my helmet. And since I've been on this island, 2,000 years have come and gone, and I still don't know if it's scone or is it scone. But I like the bus stops and sweet shops and hedgerows and birds. I like speaking a language with 600,000 words. I like foxes and post boxes, badger sets and church bells, pasties and stews and seaside hotels. I don't like the stories that roll across the waves of guns and of guilt, of shame and of slaves. When they first sailed off in tall ships, they sold us a dream. They'd found a rough diamond across the sea, and they were gonna help it gleam. Spread the light and knowledge that we'd found in recent years. The great voice out of heaven, God shall wipe away all tears. I've never left this island, so I believed it for a while. But these days it's hard to live here, but there's still things that raise a smile. Like, I like railways and Sundays and umbrellas in the rain. I like to curl up by the window and read Jane Eyre again. I like an autumn breeze, I like the Hebrides, I like eating custard tarts and all the funny people who have goodness in their hearts. I don't like how it doesn't make sense. These people strode across the earth and murdered, stole, and had no clue what a life was worth. Rule Britannia, Britannia tramples as she climbs. Britannia never had to answer for her crimes. I like justice, I know her, she never takes that blindfold off. So come on now, do your worst, I'd prefer that you were tough. I like 2 sugars in my tea, so get it down the spout. Pull up a chair, sit down, and we can try to have it out.
Thank you so much, Tim. One of my favorite things about Signal, those of you who've watched before, is I really like it to be a space where songs can be premiered where the paint is still wet. Is the polite terminology I use. When I first started, it was when the wound is still bleeding. But I think it's important. Musicals take a long time to happen, to get on, and I think it's really important that people get to hear them in their early stages and get to see them grow up. I've likened them to kind of children in a way that we have to be comfortable seeing musicals as poopy children so that we can be even prouder of them when we see them graduate from college. It always makes me extremely happy when someone decides to show off their first song from their new show at Signal. It's been something that I've been proud about for a few years, and yeah, never gonna stop being cool. I said one of the things that makes me feel very lucky about my job, strange it is right now, is that I get emails from people with their first draft of a new song, and that's special. Like, well, it is for me. I'd rather hear a new song than hear than hear something for the first time and get that hit of adrenaline that I do from hearing something for the first time than I would to hear, Defying Gravity for the 70th time. As much as I do enjoy Defying Gravity on occasion, so thank you. And from one brand new song to another brand new song from a new show. I'm really, really pleased that this next writer is joining us. I mean, I'm pleased that all of these writers are joining us because it always seems like a bloody miracle that this is possible. This next writer I met when he was in London as a Brit for that period of time. He won the Stars and Drew Best New Song Award and is, a bit of a genius. And came to some of the first in-person signals, and I remember thinking, I want to work with that person and know that person. And then this person moved to Pittsburgh, as you do, for a teaching job, and to be back in his home country. But that was, of course, was a loss to the UK. And then when lockdown began, I, like probably everybody else, subscribed to Disney Plus, and the first thing I started watching was Encore. And for those who haven't seen it, it's absolutely calibrated to make you cry every episode. It's basically Follies meets reality TV. It's a group of people coming back and recreating a show that they performed at high school as adults, and then redoing it again as adults in the same space where they first started. It's incredible. And the musical director on the show looked very familiar because it was this next person. I'm told that he's planning to be back in England in the future, which is exciting news for us all. But without further ado, it's time to take you now to Pittsburgh and Adam Wachter.
Hi, I'm Adam Wachter. So this song is brand new. I just wrote it a couple weeks ago. It's from a new show that I'm just starting, basically. And it's something that I'm trying with this country western style score on the guitar, which is a challenge for me. I'm very much a piano-based composer usually. It's an experiment. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm not a great guitar player. All right, here we go. This is called Turn the Radio On, and the character is a young single mother, and that's all you really need to know about her. A young, poor Southern single mother. Here we go. When I'm feeling low and so damn blue, when my tank is dry but I got dishes to do, when the baby's crying and needs something I just can't give, it's sometimes so hard just to live. When the money's tight and bills aren't paid, when it's late at night I fight to not feel afraid. When it all gets too overwhelming and shit's just too real, there's only one way I can deal. I turn the radio on and hear my favorite song, and it's country or it's rock and roll. And when I hear the guitarist play a 32 bar, it's such a solace to my soul. I turn the radio on, cause when I'm singing along, it's like I finally found my voice. I crank the volume right up to drown out all the stuff that's making all this other noise. Anytime I need a little lift, anytime I know my flow is going adrift, anytime I need to feel better than I normally do, and when I can't turn back to you, I turn the radio on and hear my favorite song, and it's country or it's rock and roll. And when I hear the guitarist play a 32 bar, it's such a solace to my soul. I turn the radio on, cause when I'm singing along, it's like I finally found my voice. I crank the volume right up to drown out all the stuff that's making all this other noise. And whoa, 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 sometimes I need a little ray of light from the radio. That country music sure to set me right. And when the drums are kicking, the banjo's picking, and the vocals are on fire, I feel the music lift me up and take me higher and higher. I turn the radio on and hear my favorite song, and it's country or it's rock and roll. And when I hear the guitarist play a 32 bar, it's such a solace to my soul. I turn the radio on, cause when I'm singing along, it's like I finally found my voice. I crank the volume right up to drown out all the stuff that's making all this other noise. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Adam. That was so cool. And for some reason, well, not for some reason, because it's bloody good, but I've had that do-do-do-do-do-do-do stuck in my head since I first heard it yesterday, which is also to tell you a little bit about the process of this, which involves me basically programming writers and saying that they can sing whatever they want. I don't hear most of the songs until we sound check, which mostly means I've heard the songs in the last 24 hours. And the reason for that is because I sincerely believe that there aren't enough spaces on earth, especially in UK musical theatre, where writers are given the control to tell the stories that keep them up at night and that engage them and are interesting to them. I think far too often in musical theatre, people are kind of hired by producers to tell stories that they're not really that engaged with. And I think that if you look at the musicals that have really punched through, there tend to be ones that people have cared about and longed and needed to tell. And when you look at new writing infrastructure for plays, it tends to be that people can send plays that are kind of, you know, really sharp, necessary things that they have to say, send them to new writing departments, and in a way the writers can be in control of what the stories that need telling, whereas it seems too often in musical theatre that the writers are miles away from being able to be driving or caring about the stories that they want to tell. And I think in some ways the renovation of the form will come when audiences follow writers rather than the other way around. And I think Signal has always been very important to me as a way of saying, put the writers first, build the writers, put the writers in alphabetical order, and let them tell whatever they want to tell. And that means I don't know what it's going to be like in advance, but then neither do you. And that's important. It also seems like a good opportunity to say that while theatre is having an existential crisis about like what theatre is, the route that I've taken is that by making things accessible and putting them on the internet, that there is an opportunity. Obviously, these are concerts, these aren't shows. I still haven't necessarily figured out what a show would look like that I produced or directed online entirely. But for me, the idea is that these are accessible, they're available, and that they're available forever. So if you go to my website, ALPmusicals.com, you'll see every concert that we've done in lockdown in its entirety, warts and all. You'll see every video performance from Signal in person over the last 3 years. So that's like a tremendous amount of content, which you may not want to dig through, you know, in order, but like you can dip into whenever you want. There are so many amazing writers who you'll have heard of and others that you won't have heard of. And it's been so lovely again through lockdown to hear from people who said, actually, now I have the time, I finally made my way through all of those videos and I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And that's also the other thing about Signal. It's based on the term signal to noise ratio, which is about trying to create more signal, more quality and less noise. I know that everything in a signal won't be for everybody, but I also know that it'll all be good and it will all be interesting and it will be innovative and it will be very, very cared for and it won't be cynical and it will have integrity. And those are the things that I think musical theatre needs a little more of. So another newbie, it's really so gratifying to have this space and being able to, you know, modest as these opportunities are, it's really lovely to be able to give them to new people. This next writer, I came across on social media mostly, but I was drawn to essentially his lockdown project, which was to create a piece of not just digital theatre in that something that was created and watched on a digital platform, but like an actual piece of interactive digital theatre called Switchboard, which he coded, he directed the performances of, he put it together, he kind of conceived it. It's like a non-linear piece of interactive theatre that lasts 20 minutes. It's available to check out on his Twitter and his website. I absolutely implore you to check it out because it's so brilliant and fascinating and asks so many questions, and it doesn't answer all of them, and that's amazing because the question is so much more interesting than the answer to me, and the provocation of what form means in this time and what we're to do, what theatre and what narrative becomes in this era is so fascinating to me, and it's so lovely to meet people who are taking that provocation and running with it. So sending you now to Lincolnshire to tell you more about his project Switchboard, and a song that he has now written to be encoded into it is Josh Lewis.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh, and tonight I'm presenting a new song called All the Things I Should Have Said, which is part of a new version of the online interactive play which I'm working on at the moment, as Adam introduced to you, which if you want to access, you can go to switchboardtheatre.online and have a look at. And basically in the Switchboard, the story is the aftermath of a flood orchestrated by the government, where the audience picks between a number of interconnected phone calls that are played simultaneously, piecing their own narrative together from the wash of sound, giving every participant a unique experience of the overall story. And as I'm expanding this piece outwards at the moment, I'm working on what happens around the phone calls that form the central part of the piece so far, and so I've written this song. Susan sings this song after a phone call she has with her son, where they have fallen out because he tells her that when he spoke to his sister, he said he was scared of her because of the way she has treated him in the past. After hearing this, his sister has decided that she's never going to speak to him again, dashing their relationship on the rocks. This song is where Susan, their mother, reminisces over the ways things used to be when they were younger and wonders if there were things she could have done differently which would have avoided this situation that they're in now. And performing this song is the fabulous Sarah Bluck. Thank you.
All the things I should have said, all the lives I should have led. Do you think she ever knew? Do you think he had a clue? All the times I let them go instead of saying no. All the times I walked away, what did I let decay? Did I ever have a chance? Should I have known at first glance? When they were young, life was sweet. We lurked for crabs in the summer heat, fish and chips from John's on the bench by the pier. And then she didn't want to be here, so I let her go. How was I to know that things like that only ever grow? Even though they grow slow when you're caught in the flow, you don't really know how things will go. No, it's not really fair to make yourself see something that back then wasn't there. They took charge of their journey. They chose separate ways. Who would have guessed how different they'd be? I couldn't change it no matter how I tried. But maybe there were things I should have said. things I still can't say, things I should say instead. Then maybe then someday. Don't dream that far ahead.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you, Josh. That was so cool. Yeah, as Josh said, I would implore you to go to, I think he said switchboardtheatre.online. It's so cool, and yeah, parallel universes and kind of alternate realities is a kind of interest of mine. I think it's something that we're all thinking about a lot in lockdown, when kind of the months come where we knew that we had other plans, but we're in this reality instead. And this experience kind of really speaks to that. And I don't know, it's exciting when a piece is not only interested in musical theatre, but also interested in form and innovation and what the hell we're meant to do in this strange time. So congrats, Josh, and we hope to hear more from you soon. Can you believe it? We've had 2 people in a row who it's their first signal, and we're about to go on to the third, which is again so exciting. This is a writer I've admired for a while, and exciting that she can finally be part of a signal. We're really, really thrilled she's joining us. And what to say, I first interacted with her through a show that she did called Chronic. Again, standing on sides of a boundary between kind of gig piece and kind of performance theatre and storytelling, and kind of looking at autobiographical storytelling and memoir and kind of fiction, non-fiction, and just so many interesting things put together. And I'm absolutely thrilled that she can join us, not only with a song, but with a new song from a new piece, which I think is currently still untitled. And it gives me a great pleasure to take you now to Kat Bensley.
Hi, Kat Bensley here. This is a very new musical, e.g. I've only written 2 songs. One of them I don't like very much. So I rewrote one for this week. So it's been a bit of a hectic one. But I had a lot of help from the amazing Stuart Falston, who helped me with the tech and the piano. And yeah, so basically this is about a cult. I read a couple of books and I've kind of been inspired. So there's 2 girls in this, and I think one of the girls will be in the cult growing up in it, and what she does is she kind of questions her relationship with power and the men that are treating her badly. It's a religious cult, and they don't let women speak, etc. And the other girl, I think what will happen is she's going to look at the world sort of from the other way. So it's like she's looking at the power of the men that are treating us in the modern world. And I kind of thought this kind of relates, and I want to do one about sort of the problems with body image and things, because of all the sort of horrible like advertising, and you always have to look a certain way and have a certain ideal type. So I think I'm going to call this Self-Worth. Do not have a title for the He looked me up and down and moved over to the camera. As I went to act, he frowned and said, "Try a different angle." He moved me several times, but he never seemed fulfilled. And before I'd even said one line, he cried, "You just don't have the nose for film." And I took that with me, I stored it up inside. Avoided photos unless I had the angle just right. It shaped my identity, instilled a new belief. I'd never look like any of those girls on the big screen. At the pub with Mum, my sister had a crisis. Her eyesight had got worse. She needed new prescription glasses. "This is so unfair," she wailed. "There's so much wrong with my anatomy. I'm now the blindest, fattest, shortest member of my family." Well, I shook my head, but Mum said, "There's something indisputable. Looking at the rest of us, you're certainly the most beautiful." We took that with us, and we stored that moment up inside. We spent our lives comparing based on what we'd heard that night. It shaped our identity, believing what we'd learned, that beauty was a way of measuring our self-worth. Our culture is designed to make us strive for perfection, to make us feel flawed, just to make more sales. Now I see why that might be the answer to the question, why do I go on endless diets that always fail? I've spent my life obsessing over how I look. It's time to start a brand new chapter or a whole new book. Shape my own identity, I have so much to give. Think of all my assets, 'cause beauty is only skin deep. This cult of the body that we are all trapped in can be changed. You are brave. It's what's inside us that should come first. Beauty shouldn't be a way of measuring our self-worth.
Thank you so much, Kat. Wow, what a beautiful song. And again, can't wait to hear more. It's been a great opportunity for me to hear people and projects who are new to me, and which hopefully means they're new to you too. And what I would say is, if follow people on social media, go to their SoundClouds, go to where they are posting with their music. Many different places you can be posting your work now, and follow them and support them and amplify them. And because I think one of the reasons that people won't take risks on artists is because they say that people don't know who they are. But what we've realized lately is that people, if audiences get built around artists, then those artists have suddenly got bargaining power with producers. And I think that's another thing that I'm hoping might happen, is that rather than appealing to gatekeepers all the time, we can create our own bonfire, as it were, and create our own outcomes, and also our own popularity and our own mediums of storytelling that don't necessarily require permission all the time. Because as a friend of mine said, like, people give permission to things that remind them of things that they've already seen, because they think that there's already an audience. But that sort of creates a sort of negative cycle where things just keep sounding the same. And Signal's always been about things sounding different, and new stories and new writers. So we're up to our last song of this set. So after this, we're going to have an interval of 15 minutes, which is a good opportunity to like the YouTube video that you're watching, subscribe to our YouTube channel, buy a ticket at ALPmusicals.com/tickets. I think I did that pretty well there. Tweet, post, chat to people in the live chat. Basically, just do what you can to pour a bit of petrol on the bonfire. We would really appreciate that. Obviously, these are tricky times for everybody, but also I think I see two things that are possible. I see that this is going to make things harder for theatre, but potentially will create more opportunity for new work, because I think people will want to be in spaces when they want to be in spaces. I think they will want to see something new, because the idea of what we've seen repetitiously within lockdown is something that already existed. And I don't know, I have this weird cockeyed optimist feeling about what might come next, despite all of the sadness. And this entire community and all of these writers, so many of them I haven't met in person, and neither have you, but hopefully you all will one day. All right, so on to our final song, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome back an old friend of the Signal family. This next writer writes, co-writes with his collaborator. They have done a few real world signals, I think 3 real world signals before whatever this was, and they've done 2 Signal Onlines, but he has stayed absent from the world of Signal Online. He's let his collaborator get on with it, but today we're thrilled that the other half, the guitar playing half of this duo, is joining us tonight. Also gives me the opportunity to share some, I don't know, potentially secret but also quite exciting news, which is I was meant to be directing a show at a drama school in May, which got cancelled, and one of the things that's changed about this time is we're hopefully going back into rehearsals in August and September with those students, but we can only rehearse people in groups of 6 because of the new socially distanced bubble system. And rather than decide to do a big musical in quarters, instead I managed to convince them to let me do 2 new chamber musicals at this drama school, with a cast, with production values. And to me, suddenly it seems like from something impossible, something possible might have happened, which is, getting a year of 22, splitting into 4 and doing 2 new musicals that are chamber sized suddenly gives an opportunity that maybe wasn't there before, that maybe might convince drama schools that would be a really cool thing to do going forward. So those 2 shows are going to be a show called Catch Me by Christian Chorney, and a big shout out to Christian Chorney, who is on the back end of Signal as my co-technical producer, and has indefatigably helped the innovations of this time, and it's really exciting. I did stages with Chris at Vault Festival, was the last real thing I did in the real world, and one of the shows is Catch Me by him and Arno, and I've forgotten Arno's second name, which is really embarrassing, so sorry. And the other show is going to be by this incredible pair, a show called The Limit, which premiered last year at Vault Festival, and we're going to be doing that too. So from a strange time has turned into a good time for new musicals, and so it seemed like a brilliant opportunity, since they're doing rewrites, for a new song, or an amended, adapted, updated, refreshed song from the award-winning The Limit. And here to tell you more about it and to sing it is the incredible Jack Williams.
Hello. Thank you very much, Adam. As he said, I'm Jack Williams, and I'm going to be playing something from The Limit, which is a new musical I wrote with my co-writer Freya Smith, who is manning the chat box today. So The Limit is about 18th century French mathematician Sophie Germain, who did some amazing work in number theory and elasticity, and is probably best remembered for winning the French Academy of Sciences prize in 1816. It first debuted at the Vault Festival in 2019, and we can't wait to bring it back with CSSD for a 90-minute version in a few months, which would be fantastic. One of the most exciting aspects of the story, I think, happens in the first half, where Sophie has to disguise herself as a man to have access to university, to have access to an education. And she takes on the persona of a student called Antoine Leblanc, who is not the smartest tool in the shed, and is failing and has dropped out of university, basically. And this song, Welcome to the Rest of Your Life, takes place where her professor, Professor Lagrange, and his colleagues Laplace and Legendre are reviewing a new essay from Antoine Leblanc, Sophie, and noticing a remarkable change in the ability, a miraculous change. So this is Welcome to the Rest of Your Life. My friends, I feel that I should mention, it has come to my attention that Monsieur Leblanc may have more to him than meets the eye. He's undergone a transformation, and with each new grand equation, I grow sure that this form ignoramus is our guy. In essay number 1, we didn't have much fun. His style was lazy, and his songs were muddled, hazy, and slurred. But in essay number 5, it all seems to come alive. It's like a story, and I'm hanging on his every word. Antoine Lovelock, you've changed your ways. Now welcome to the rest of your life. It's time to set this world ablaze. Now welcome to the rest of your life. And now Laplace and Lejeune pick up the paper, and I'm going to do some head turning to play both of these characters now. Reading this flawless number theory gets me feeling rather teary. To think that overnight one man could go from dull to bright, it's mad. For one who struggled with division, he now scribes with such precision. The man makes mass exciting, he's even cleaned up his handwriting. And credit where it's due, LeBlanc's success is down to you. Your lectures changed him from the dunce he was when he first enrolled. You've created him anew. You're the jet-black polish to his shoe. Like an alchemist, you've taken lead and turned it into gold. Antoine Lovelock, you've changed your ways. Now welcome to the rest of your life. It's time to set this world ablaze. Yes, welcome to the rest of your life. Yes, for a man like you, the troubles will be few. You'll use your genius to set aside your troubles and strife. To you, Lovelock, a glass we'll raise. Now welcome to the rest of your life. He's completed over 6 months of work in just 1 week. It's music to my ears. He's undefeated. No one holds a candle to his great technique. He outshines all his peers. This kid has what it takes to hit the top. LeBlanc is here to stay, and he won't stop. Antoine LeBlanc, you've changed your ways. Now welcome to the rest of your life. It's time to set this world ablaze. Now welcome to the rest of your life. Yes, for a man like you, the troubles will be few. You'll use your genius to set aside your troubles and strife. To you, Lovelock, a glass we raise. Now welcome to the rest of your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jack. That was another hit. Love those guys. Shout out to Freya, even though she didn't join us tonight. I'm looking forward to working with you in the real world, I suppose, as anxious as I am about what the real world of socially distanced staging will look like. But yeah, I'm excited. I think it feels like, thankfully, we're moving to a different phase of existence, hence why Signal is drawing to a close, because we're trying to figure out what is next. Anyway, talking of what's next is an interval. So feel free to buy a ticket, post some social media love, like the YouTube link would really help. Subscribe to the YouTube channel would also really help. Just, be a good friend to us. If you're here, we would really love and appreciate that, because it all helps people know who we are, what we're up to, and will help us build a bonfire in the long run. So we're going to be back in 15 minutes. Let's call it 5 to 9, and we will see you then. Thanks. Hello, welcome back to set 2 of Signal Online. 8. Mad. Over 100 songs, over like 60 artists from all around the world. It has been a fucking terrible and weird new time. But like, I still can't get over the level of accessibility and access and networks that have been possible in this time. And it's definitely made me wonder why this hasn't happened all the time. Like, we've had the internet for years, and we've had those capabilities. I don't know if any of you have had this. I've had this feeling where like I have friends in New York, but I sort of spend an intense period of time with them when I'm in New York, and then I leave and I don't speak to them for another couple of years. And weirdly, I've found myself being able to speak to them as regularly as people who I live near, because that you just can. And I really sincerely hope that doesn't change. But what I really do sincerely hope that changes is that things get better for the whole world in this time. But I don't know. I hope that there's something there we can hold on to. Before we begin set 2, I need to send some best wishes. The last thing I did in the real world was a new musical called Stages. In Stages was an incredible actor called H. Wiley. And H has also been a brilliant part of the Signal Online verse and MT Pride and all sorts of amazing things. And it is their parents' anniversary tonight, and they were really excited that they were going to be able to get to spend their anniversary watching Signal Online, which is so nice, because I sort of, I've noticed that gradually numbers have declined from the heady highs at the beginning of lockdown, because I think more and more people are deciding to do other things with their evenings. But it really means so much that you're all here live, and it means so much that they're here live. So I just want to give a huge shout out and a happy anniversary to Tim and Deb Nelms. Deb Nelms. Sorry. I met them at Stages and they were wonderful, and their support of H is incredible to watch, but also their support of new musical theatre is incredible to watch. And that's always my hope, is that like from us, we build out to the people that we know, and they build out to the people that they know, and that gradually systemic change is possible. So thank you to you, and thank you to everybody who's chosen to spend your evenings with us. Thank you. All right, so on to our first song. So we've been doing this in lockdown. I mean, I've been having a weird old lockdown. I wrote a book about musical theatre. Me and Chris and Richard Williamson made an app. I started a company for young people to make their own musicals at home with activity packs called Make Your Own Musicals. It's been a time of entrepreneurship. And this next pair, well, the book writer of this next piece is, as ever, the creative producer and entrepreneur, is always juggling 5 to 10 new musicals, not only as a director producer but also as a writer. So props to her, because she's amazing. Her co-writer and composer lyricist I've been lucky enough to work with a couple of years ago, and they decided to spend lockdown after their Beam pitch was thwarted, as were all Beam pitches. They decided they would create a cast recording of their newest show in lockdown, which they have now done. It's being released next Friday. I, for one, am so excited to hear it, and I'm just so excited for anyone who has used this period of time. No diss to people who have sat in bed eating ice cream. I've done a fair bit of that too. But like those of you who've used this time to develop and find ways of connecting your work to audiences directly is so inspiring. And I know how rare it is to get new British musicals on Spotify, on streaming services. And that, like, sometimes that's one of the tough things. That's why I've tried to put all of this stuff available for people, because I want it to be accessible. But I think there's such a thrill to know that a cast recording of a new British musical made in lockdown will hit Spotify and streaming services next Friday, and I'm really delighted to tell you about it. Here is Poppy Burton-Morgan and Ben Glasstone.
Hi, I'm Poppy, and I think Ben might be there, not quite sure. So tell you a bit about our show. It's called The Rhythmics, and it's about Manchester's premier all-male rhythmic gymnastics performance ensemble. Yes, you heard that right. So it's a musical about the twirly ribbons, rhythmic gymnastics. And it's not just about a bunch of guys. Really, it's about a kind of hapless northern single dad and his precocious, nerdy teenage daughter, which is quite autobiographical. Love you, Dad. But also for Ben, who composer and co-lyricist, he's got a teenage daughter, so there's a lot of stuff about father-daughter relationships, but also like wider things about the crisis of masculinity and sort of male communication, all of that. But it's super funny and heartwarming and kind of hopefully life-affirming, gorgeous show. Although the song that we are about to play is one of the sadder moments in the show. But yeah, we've managed to record this entire album in lockdown, which has been challenging, but it's amazing to get it out there. And we just hope that there were talks about trying to get the show on this year, which obviously went out the window. But touch wood, once this album gets out there and we start getting a buzz about the show, maybe we'll get it on next year. So hopefully being out there on Spotify and things will make a difference to that. And also it's just an amazing, beautiful thing. 11 of so there are 19 songs in the whole show and we've got 11 on the album. So follow at the rhythmics _ on Twitter to be the first to like hear it and get the release next week. And that hopefully I'll now pass over to Ben to give a bit of context to the song. Take it away, Ben.
Well, I think I'm on live. I'm on the air. Am I on the air? Can you tell me, Chris, if I'm on the air? I'm live now. Hello, Signal. I had a wonderful malfunction just then when I could hear nothing at all of my writing partner, Poppy, introducing me, as I trust she did. But all is well. I'm Ben, and I'm here to sing a song from our musical, The Rhythmics. And this song is sung by a character called Nick, who is the leader of the team of male rhythmic gymnasts. And he wants to take his team to glory in the World Championships. And he's driving this team like anything. They're just a bunch of middle-aged geezers in Manchester who've got together for a laugh because they like this sport. But he seems to want to take things a bit further. And the others don't really understand why. And when he sings this song, we begin to understand why for ourselves. So that's kind of the background. I'm going to sing in a northern accent of some sort from the greater Manchester area, because that's where the show is set, as I'm sure Poppy has explained, although I couldn't hear a word of that. And I'd also like to point out that it's been great fun making this album, which is out on the 7th of August. We're really pleased with it. And download it from Spotify, it's great. I really like it. And also that I played the drums. And so I'd like you to listen out. The last chorus from the end, there's a great drum fill. So, whether or not you're following the story, enjoying the singing, do listen out. There's a nice drum fill just towards the end. Okay, that's it. I'm going to play the track. I'm going to sing the song. I Was There from The Rhythmics. We tidy up and pack away. Phone the plumber, plan the day. Things off until tomorrow. Down a pint to drown our sorrows. We schedule flights and pencil meetings. Send each other season's greetings. Rustle up a bolognese. Plan our weekend getaway. And wonder what became of that young man of 22. But I'd be grateful, I'd be satisfied if in my heart I knew that just this once I took my place and hit the mark with perfect grace. And just to know it, I'd walk on air. Yes, I was there. Yes, I was there. doctor said, in 6 months, fella, you'll be dead. Sorry, chap, but that's your lot. Try to make the most of what you've got. We reschedule flights and cancel meetings, send our exes season's greetings, reheat last week's bolognese, and try to catch the passing days. Don't wonder what became of that young man of 22. Be grateful and be satisfied with everything you do. And if this once we find our flow, we seize the moment and steal the show. We'll get our glory, and I'll take my share. Yes, I was there.
I was there, I was there.
Yes, I was there.
I was there, I was there.
Yes, I was there.
I was there, I was there.
Yes, I was there. Thank you.
And we were all there to hear that song for the first time. So thank you so much to Ben and Poppy. I will be streaming that as soon as I wake up next Friday, and I hope you will too. It's also really nice to hear, real drums on a new song, because that meant that someone was literally there playing the drums. So thanks for doing that. In fact, Ben played the drums, from what he told me. The next writer, it's sort of shameful and embarrassing, and I'm sorry that this is this Signal writer's debut, because we've known each other for years, and he's one of the kind of bright lights, foremost writers of new musicals in the country, and he's amazing, and I just don't know why it took so long, but let's not be sad it was late. Let's be grateful it was today. So this next writer, you will know him for the phenomenal Pieces of String, which is hits my sweet spot with regards to musical theatre, and that it's set in 2 overlapping time periods, and is about memory and family and secrets, and is beautiful, and is on digital theatre, I think, so you can download it from there. It was on free for a little while in lockdown, so hopefully some of you saw it there. But I'm so thrilled that he's joining us tonight with a brand new song from a new show, which is so fun. And he also got super crappy internet dispensation, so recorded a video. But he is here live to tell you about the song and tell you about the show, taking you now to the incredible Gus Gowland.
Hello, thank you so much. God, what an intro. I'm over the moon to be doing Signal. As Adam said, we haven't been able to make it work, and I'm so thrilled that I could be part of it. And there's something really lovely about being part of this lockdown Signal Online as well, because these concerts have been such a brilliant constant throughout lockdown. So I feel very proud and happy to be here. And as ever, Adam, I applaud you and everything you're doing for new musicals. Thank you. So the song I'm sharing today is from a new show of mine called Candidates, which is a version of Much Ado About Nothing set in a high school election. This song is called Blindsided, and it's sung by the character Ben, who is clearly Benedict. And basically him and the Beatrice character have been sort of getting it on, as they want to do, sort of arguing and also love-hate relationship. And he thinks something's happening with them. And then she basically tells him where to go because of lots of shenanigans that happen that I'm not going to reveal. You will have to wait until you can come and see it in a theatre at some point when we're allowed back in theatres. So this song is when he's been completely flummoxed by feelings that he's felt for the first time in his life, suddenly not being genuine. So this is Blindsided.
Ever get the kind of feeling like the world is gonna end? That kind of crazy when the things you thought you knew were just pretend. Well, I can run, I can hide, turn the tide and push it somewhere else. Or I can scream, scream and shout, let it out, but I'm talking to myself. Now the smoke clears and the earth turns, but my heart burns. You played me all along. Now I'm broke down and I can't hide it. I'm blindsided, I guess I got it wrong. So I've been thinking about the future and the things that we would do. I know it's stupid, but it didn't seem so stupid with you. But I can run, I can hide, turn the tide and push it somewhere else. Or I can scream, scream and shout, let it out, but I'm talking to myself. Now the smoke clears and the earth turns, but my heart burns. You played me all along. Now I'm broke down and I can't hide it. I'm blindsided, I guess I got it wrong. And you won't even say you're sorry. You hurt me and you don't care about the fallout. You're all out. Now the smoke clears and the earth turns, but my heart burns. You played me all along. Now I'm broke down and I can't hide it. I'm blindsided, I guess I got it wrong.
Whoa, so many beautiful songs tonight. Thank you so much, Gus. I don't know, it just amazes me how many extraordinarily talented writers there are and how many incredible new musicals they are. And it kind of amazes me that for years we've been happy to have the same ones running for 30 or 40 years. I mean, I get it that, you know, survival of the fittest and all that, but it still flummoxes me the way that after a period of time we don't make space for something new, or that we haven't created more structures for something new, because I think the narrative goes that people assume that there aren't enough good new writers or enough good new pieces, but actually there's not enough space or opportunity for those writers, so we never hear them, so we just continue with that same cyclical assumption that there aren't enough good writers, and it's just mind-boggling to me. And I guess one of the incredible things about Signal has been just to be sort of almost assaulted with talent every 2 weeks, every week sometimes, and to just realize the community that we have, both in the UK and all over the world, and how special that can be. And I think once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So one of the things that people always used to say about Signal in person was that when I was presenting, it felt like weirdly evangelical, because of course there was a crowd of people who could like laugh and applaud and agree with things and disagree with things, you know, and clap and boo. Mostly clap, sometimes boo, never boo. And yeah, I'm feeling a little evangelical tonight, I suppose, about new musicals and the power and the potential of what they can do, and the healing that they can be, and the part of the community they can be. Anyway, sorry if anyone's playing a drinking game tonight. I've hit most of the things that you'd expect me to say, so sorry and thank you. So these next writers, they joined us in person at Signal in the real world, but this is their first Signal online. And again, it's really amazing that they're joining us with the first song from a new show. Like, I think a lot of people have decided. I remember when lockdown first started, people were saying, oh, you know, if I was in the middle of something, I could keep going because I had some existing momentum, but starting something new feels tough. I would have that conversation with lots of writers. They would say, oh, well, luckily I was working on something and I can keep it rolling. But some people were like, oh, I wasn't started working on anything and I feel kind of stopped. But what I've noticed in the last month or so is that people are beginning new things. And regardless of the fact that the world is still in a very complicated place, it feels like the writers that I know and care about, or am beginning to know and care about and connect with, are finally at a place where they think they have something new to say. And I'm just finding that very exciting, as evidenced by how many new shows and new songs we're hearing tonight. I mean, that hasn't been the case for quite a few online signals, so I think that's pretty special. Yeah, also these next two writers, they run an incredible organization that runs choirs, and they were meant to have their 10th anniversary celebration. It was going to be a humongous thing in Cadogan Hall, and tons and tons of people were going to be there, and I was going to be there, and it was going to be very, very special and a sort of milestone. And they didn't get to do that, as a lot of people didn't get to do things. But I think, God, if you've been aiming for to kind of like a 10-year milestone and you didn't get to hit it, I don't know, the catharsis on that must feel strange, or the lack of catharsis rather. So as small as it might be, just a big shout out to Starling Arts and to this amazing pair for everything that they've done, and I can't wait to be at that celebration when it is rescheduled. So anyway, enough waffle, it's time to hear from them. I'm going to take you now to the incredible Emily Garsin and Anna Shields.
Thank you, Adam, for having us. Thank you so much. It's great to be here tonight. We've had a few issues in the Garsin and Shields bonfire this evening, so it's just me, Anna Shields, but my beloved writing partner, Emily Garsin, has sent me a photo of herself waving for you all, so she's here in spirit. Big shout out to all the Starling Arts fam who are joining us tonight watching this. It's great to be here in the world of Signal Online. We do miss the slightly sweaty atmosphere of the physical Signal over at the H Club, but these online signals have been a wonderful tonic during lockdown, and a great way to discover new writers and musicals in the process. So thank you, Adam, for everything that you do to champion new work. Tonight we have a song from a brand new show that we've been dreaming up in the last month or so, and it's called Little Patch of Green. As the title might suggest, it's about a plot of grass found off a street somewhere in suburbia. This space has seen better days, but it's always been a comfort to the show.
Hello, sorry, I'm just going to cut Anna off, not because she's not brilliant, but just because, as you might have heard, her sound was very, very quiet then, and she's about to talk about her new show, and I just wanted to give us a chance to hear that a little better, and it probably involves refreshing a browser source of some sort. So I'm just going to let that happen. I've realised I also added some gain on my end, so when she comes back, it might be super gainy, but we're in live theatre now, and I guess it's a great opportunity to just ask you again if anyone can support us. You can, whether you're watching in person or after the fact, you can buy a ticket at alpmusicals.com/tickets. It's got very nighttime where I am. I realise I've got to turn on any lights except for my angle poise, so it's kind of got a kind of like a Stranger Things kind of vibe. Someone just bought a ticket. Thank you. My phone just buzzed. I wonder what it was. I wondered if it was to say. Yeah. So you can do that. I'm multitasking now, which is always a treat. What else can I say? Don't worry, I'm not going to play the harmonica. In the past I have played the harmonica because I do, and it was next to me and someone asked me to. I guess I would just say our next, great, it's fixed. I just got a text, it's fixed. Hope you're having a nice time. I was. All right, brilliant. We're going to go to Anna now, and she can tell you about her and Emily's show. Hopefully, there might be too much going on, but I'll fix it. All right, see you in a sec.
Am I good to go? Hello, everyone. Hopefully I'm now live. As I said earlier, loads of technical issues at Garsin Shields HQ today, so apologies if you now hear me repeating things that I said before quietly. But I am Anna Shields, and Emily Garsin is my writing partner, and we are going to be sharing a song tonight from a new show that we have just thought up in the last few weeks during this crazy lockdown time, and it's called Little Patch of Green. It's about a plot of grass that's found somewhere in the suburbs, probably like a sort of zone 3 or 4 place for the Londoners amongst you. And this place has definitely seen better days. But it's always been a really comforting place for the show's protagonist, who's a young woman called Hallie. And the story follows Hallie as she sets out to transform this patch of green to improve the view for her mother, who is unwell. And in the process, she becomes unlikely friends with a bunch of her neighbours, all of whom find comfort and purpose in developing this garden together. This song comes near the top of the show. Hallie has just been on a walk with her mum, who has gone home upset about her deteriorating health. So she reminisces about the green and thinks about what she could do to lift her mother's spirits. We've just written this song in the last few days, so who knows if it'll end up in the final show, but it's been a great way to unpack the character of Hallie and the character of the patch of green itself as well. But that's enough waffle from me. I'm going to pass you over now to Jade Johnson, who's going to sing this for us.
We used to love to sit here, bring a picnic and lie on the grass. I'd sit and do my homework while Mum would read books in the sun, catching gossip as people walk past. The ice cream van would come and the whole street would scrum in the longest queue I'd seen. Then we'd all find a spot and tuck in on our little patch of green. I realise now it's far from perfect. It's all dog shit and rubbish and weeds. There used to be this lady who'd spend every other weekend trimming flower beds and planting new seeds. Though it's torn at the seam, I still love to dream of the days when it was clean, when Mum used to smile and relax on our little patch of green. Imagine it with colour, with flowers blooming bright, a place that's filled with laughter, love and light. Ha! Well, it's the tiniest bump on the path. I guess I'll need to buy, like a spade, all these tools of the trade, but it's worth it to just see Mum laugh. Build a fence round the edge, plant a tree, grow some veg, and lush grass in between. Yeah, it's time that I fix up our little patch of green. Our little patch of green.
Thank you so much, Jade. That was amazing. And another new show beginning at Signal, which gives me so much joy. You've no idea. And I can't wait to hear what comes next from Emily and Anna. So thank you. So these next writers, they joined us last. I think it was Signal Online 6. Yeah, that feels right. They are now in St Ives in Cornwall on a writer's retreat with another Signal writer. Well, I don't know if they're on a retreat. They might just be on a holiday, but they found themselves with another Signal writer, and we're going to perform a new song from their show. Well, they're still going to perform it, but at about literally 7:15, we just found out that their internet was too unstable. It was glitching all over the place. So they recorded a video of it during Act 1, which we've now loaded into the system for Act 2. We kept it streaming, so actually haven't heard it or seen it yet. So I guess it kind of still counts as live, because the definition of live is that it is transmitted directly from source to recipient, which I guess this has been sort of just time delayed by like an hour or half an hour. These next writers have been exploding onto the scene. Really grateful that they're part of this community. They are a concert of I'll just say their name. I was found a Signal. It was so fun to be able to like do a long run up and then say the name at the end, like a kind of rhetorical thing. But the Annabel Mutale Reed has sort of been everywhere lately, and in fact a concert of her work with her collaborators was staged online. I don't know if that's anachronistic, by the Barn Theatre, and there's so many songs there for you to see. But yeah, here is a new song by Annabel and Jack, and it's coming to you semi-live from Cornwall, and I'm going to take you there now.
Hi, I'm Jack Trzcinski.
I'm Annabel Mutale Reed.
And I'm Robin Simoes da Silva.
And this is Falling from our show Alice that we're working on as a writing collective with Leo Munby and Natalie Dunn. And we are in lovely St Ives with a lovely audience.
Well, this is our daughter. Our daughter. And me and Jack started writing this show based on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland when we were in New York studying at Tisch, and we couldn't get it to work until we decided to work on it in this really playful way with a writing collective, and we've all been writing different songs and basically been thinking about the characters from whatever angle we all come from. We're all from really different backgrounds, and Robin's written a love song between the frog footman and the fish footman.
Yeah, they're going to run away together. Spoilers.
But this is a song that Jack and I wrote, thinking about Alice as somebody who is having a really tough time and almost hits rock bottom as she falls down the rabbit hole. And she sings this with her friends, the rabbit and the Mad Hatter.
Some things are too important to notice. Some worries are too heavy to drop. And when you're down the rabbit hole, some things don't start till they stop. It feels like falling, 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 contracting, expanding. It feels like falling, falling. But as you fall, you can go if you let yourself hold. There's a soft landing. Some dreams are too much, not enough.
Some thoughts are too painful to feel.
And when you can't see through the dark, imaginary voices are real, but we're okay. We're just falling, falling, renewing, revolving, rebranding. We're just falling, falling. With no hard sorrow, but it's different if you hope. There's a soft landing. And sometimes I'm flying, I'm climbing, I'm soaring, exploring the sky and the summit. I regain control, I can learn from my soul, and the wind blows again and I plummet.
You're not alone.
I know how you feel. You're not alone. I know how you feel. It feels like falling, falling, falling without understanding why I'm falling, falling. Oh, but as I fall, I will hope, I will hope. Always have. There's a soft landing.
Beautiful. Wow, and also what a lyric to hold on to. I hope that when I fall there'll be a soft landing, which I think is something that we're all identifying with now, and just so great to see three people singing and playing together, because kind of used to not seeing that. And I think, you know, if there's a next phase for me in this time, it definitely feels like trying to I learned the word transmedia and I'm very excited by it now, but essentially it's a mixture of digital, virtual, in person, not in person, collaboration. And I think I'll be looking as the year unpacks itself to try and figure out how to get people who are in shared spaces into one digital space, which hopefully will give us more feelings of people together and bands playing and collaboration that we've lost in this period of time. I think what we've gained is being able to see writers at work in their homes, and being able to kind of be part of their process a little. And I've really appreciated that, rather than having to, you know, always ask writers to come out and hustle in the world. We've gone to them, and we've let them be where they are, at the same desk where they write their songs, or in the same rooms where they write their songs, on the same instruments that they write their songs. And I do think that is something lovely too, and I think there's space for that as well. And I hope this time has made us feel like there is more space for that. So on to the next writer. The next writer was last at Signal Online 5. We had coffee at the beginning of this year. He's an amazingly talented actor, musician, actor, singer and musician, multi-hyphenate, and to all of our great fortune has decided to start writing musicals. And in so much so was actually at a class this evening taught by Gowland in musical theatre. So they both asked if they could be an act too, which they are. But that's really exciting just to know that in this time people are focusing on what they can write and do. And in another gratifying turn, I asked Matt if he wanted to do another Signal, and he said, I haven't been able to write anything. And I think in some ways, because I gave him a date, he wrote something, and it's a beautiful song. So in order to let him tell you about it, we're going to go right now to Matt Harvey to tell you about his new song.
Good evening. Thanks so much to Adam and everyone at Signal for having me here. As Adam said, he sent me a text the other day saying, do you want to sing something tonight? And I've been sort of staring at a half-finished song for a very long time now, and thought, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna finish this song for this evening. So I did, and I think it was lovely to kind of have a hard deadline of you have to finish this by. So this song is from a musical that will probably never happen. At the beginning of lockdown, I decided I was going to write a few songs for a hypothetical musical of my favourite film, which is Serendipity. Obviously, there is so much red tape and everything in getting the rights to anything, but I just thought I would do it as a fun project. But unfortunately, I'm now obsessed with it, so I'm sure I will see it through to its bitter and probably disappointing end. Anyway, the film and I guess this song, it centres around Jonathan, who bumps into this girl, Sarah, in a New York department store on Christmas Eve, and they're both trying to buy this one pair of gloves, and they sort of have this chance encounter and spend a romantic evening together, and they end up in Central Park, and they go skating, and Sarah falls over, and Jonathan's sort of looking at her arm and notices her freckles are in the shape of a constellation that's Cassiopeia. And ultimately, Sarah believes if they're really meant to be together, then fate will bring them together sort of when they're both unattached and single in the future. But Jonathan really wants her name and to find out who she is, but she won't give him her name. So I thought it'd be interesting to see if he could use the tale of Cassiopeia to kind of illustrate how it's foolish for her not to give her his name. And so this is the song Cassiopeia. Please do excuse the MIDI strings. That's all I could find. Back in ancient times, strange and fabled times, lived a lady with beauty beyond compare. She would spend her days in her window framed, where the kingdom could see her, so graceful, so vain, and her name, Cassiopeia. The lady's selfish ways led her to proclaim, none are fairer than I am. And she wasn't wrong, but it wasn't long till her words reached Poseidon, the sea god.
I know who Poseidon is.
He said, you will pay for all these vain, outrageous claims. And to the stars he flung her, eternally she hung there. One mistake, recklessly she played and paid for all eternity. One mistake, she never showed repentance. The lady served her sentence, and the rest of her days as a shape in the stars, like the one on a young girl's arm.
one mistake.
Yep, it's a cautionary tale.
Like Orpheus and Eurydice?
Or Jonathan and the Gloves.
I don't think I've heard that one.
You've never heard the tale of Jonathan and the Gloves? Well, it begins on a night quite like tonight. Our noble hero on a quest to find a treasured prize. Cashmere gloves from the finest designer. He made it through the hordes, through all department stores, found the gloves with a maiden. She was the special kind, she had him hypnotized. They spent the evening underneath Cassiopeia. The stars aligned, our hero knew this maiden was the treasure, but she wouldn't give her name until the stars aligned again. The maiden made one mistake, didn't listen to her heart, too obsessed with destiny. One mistake, the maiden died lonely. If only she told me her name. Maybe it's fate, maybe it's planned, maybe the whole thing is out of our hands, and we're just pieces treading the boards in somebody's game. But what if it's not, and we hold the wheel, steering this moment wherever we feel? You chose to talk, you chose to stay, you chose to skate, by the way. So can't it be both? Fate's on our side, showing a path that we get to decide. Follow the signs, follow the stars, but the decision is ours. Think of the odds, why gamble the chance of our paths overlapping again? You have a name, and I have a pen.
All right then.
Whoa, what a beautiful song. I've said that a number of times tonight because there have been a number of really beautiful songs. And I don't know, since we're on the internet and you never know who's watching, if anyone who knows anyone who can help us get to the rights of Serendipity, if you know screenwriter, if you know the producer, if you know someone who was in it, who's friends of them, let us know, because my goodness, that's a good idea. And I think that's a hell of a pitch song. So I back Matt Harvey's obsession to get that done. And anyone who can help, let us know. All right, it's the end of this quite magical feeling signal for me. I don't know, maybe that's just me. It's hard to tell in a vacuum, but it's felt very zen, and it's been really so lovely to bring so many new people and so many new shows out into the ether in some weird sense. It's been yeah, and it feels like a really nice 11 o'clock signal before we move into Signal Online 9. So Signal Online 9 is going to be on August the 18th, Tuesday, August the 18th, in 3 weeks' time. And that is our last one in this mode. The lineup's looking really amazing. And yeah, I mean, the numbers of... I don't say this in an apologetic way because, you know, it only takes one person. There can be 99 people watching a signal, but all you need is one person to like a song, and everything can change. And so this has never been a numbers game for me, but I would say anything you can do to support the writers that you've seen tonight and to support the shows that you've seen and throughout lockdown, it does feel like we're heading towards a finale, and that when we stack up all of the amazing songs and shows and things that have happened in lockdown, it'll hopefully act as some level of antidote for the sadnesses and the difficulties and the tribulations of this time. And while a lot of people are kind of wanting to take things back to the way they were before, there was never much space for new musicals in the time before. There was never much space for these incredible storytellers who, you know, and as I've said before, music and stories, they are everything. Music is weddings and funerals and first dates and birthdays and anniversaries. Music is past and present and future. Music is everything to everyone. And so the fact that musicals get this bad rap seems predicated on the fact that a few people have taken all of the space, and those few shows have come to become codified as what musical theatre is, when it can be so much. And for me, I love music, but I love it when music and stories are wound round each other in a helix. And I think for me, music and stories are going to be our future. And if anything, if we can look back on this time and look back at these songs and look back on these artists and look back on these shows and learn something about what our future might look like, that would make me very happy, even if it's only a small thing that we learn, even if we move only a centimetre forward. It would be nice, because, you know, I was going to be a doctor and I disappointed my parents by becoming a director and producer of new musical theatre. So it would be nice if something good and positive and proactive and utopian could happen in this time out of this sadness, because it's a weird time to not be a doctor, and that is during a pandemic. So I've been trying to feel worthwhile, and I hope it has been. All right, so onto our last song. I was lucky enough to meet this writer just at the end of last year. They did an event called Newsfeed, and they did a show, and then they did the Signal 9 in person, and then just as our collaboration was clicking into gear, we got thrown into COVID. But he's been such an incredible stalwart of this online time. I think this is his third Signal Online, and through these three Signal Onlines he's performed songs at, has been building a show that is sort of informed by this digital moment, that is formed by, in some ways, the political moment that we're at, that is in some ways informed by the medium of computers and the internet. And I'm thrilled by it. I'm thrilled, as I said, by the way form and content have been disrupted by this time, and what benefits we might see from that. He's been writing this show for an amazing actor, an actor who was in Stages, who's between performing this writer's work and Christian Chorney's work, has been at a lot of Signals, so much so that I jokingly named him Mr. Signal Online, and I think that's absolutely fair. And that is the incredible Max Alexander Taylor, who's going to be singing this song. But before we get to him, here is the incredible Hilmi Jaidin to tell you about his brand new song from his musical Shift Alt Right.
Hi, it's Hilmi here, and tonight I'll be presenting, as Adam said, another song from Shift Alt Right, which is a short online musical about the various tactics used by the alt-right to infiltrate niche online communities and recruit angry young men. And by the way, if you'd like a transcript of what I'm saying right now, if that's something that would help you out, I've posted a link on Twitter. So here is some context for the song. On the night of his mother's funeral, Jay escapes from the tension downstairs by logging onto his favorite online game. And on that night, he meets a new anonymous player who has a lot to say about the world. He tries to convince Jay that the gaming community is under threat from SJWs, and there's one particular figure they should be worried about, an emerging feminist game critic who posts videos on YouTube. He sends Jay a link, but when the video starts, Jay instantly recognizes the woman as Nadine, a kid he spent one summer with 10 years ago before she moved away. He also recognizes the den that she's filming in and realizes that Nadine is back in town, And in this song, Jay, our hero, or our anti-hero, decides that this is fate telling him that they were meant to reconnect. As you can imagine, it doesn't end well. But here to sing the song is the wonderful Max Alexander Taylor.
I recognize the room. I recognize the floor which we used as our base. I won't forget the first time I sat in that place. I recognize the space. I recognize the room and all I ever wanted. It was there as clear as day. I never thought that I could feel that way. You brought me into this new domain and you humanized me. You changed a setting inside my brain and you normalized me. You humanized me and I came alive in that room. You humanized me. I recognize your smile. I know it's been 10 years, but it still looks the same. That look you get when you've got your head in the game, and grinning all the while in that style. So I recognize your smile and all I ever wanted. It was there all summer long. With you, I never felt like I was weird or I was wrong. You fought beside me in every quest, and you humanized me. You showed them me at my very best, and you redefined me, you redesigned me. I felt so alive in that den, and then you were gone. You were gone. And that was the last time I ever felt normal. That was the last time I really felt good. That was the summer I truly felt human. And then came the fall. But maybe that isn't the end of the story. Maybe the hero will win like he should. I mean, you came back. After all, you came back. Yeah. Oh, you humanized me. Yeah. And now I see that you hold the key to emancipate me and liberate me. My life is about to resume. You humanize me. You humanize me. Yeah. You came back. You came back for me. You came back. You humanize me. Holy shit, that was a great one to go out on. Wow, Max Alexander Taylor's rather good, isn't he? And so is Hilmi Jaidin, and that was Signal on Line 8, I guess. So thank you so much for joining us live from around the world. I appreciate you so much. A huge thank you. There sort of aren't words really for the two people who are in the side stage with me, digitally speaking. The incredible Christian Chorney and the incredible Matt Powell. It's been a real time of innovation and figuring stuff out, and it's been great having those people on the team to figure, and in the family really to figure this stuff out. It's, we're still at the beginning, so there are still hurdles to overcome, internets to deal with, but it really feels like something has been able to be figured out that we hadn't figured out before, and now we know, and there's going to be more ahead. So it'd be amazing if you could, I know I always say this, but like anything that you can do to help our project would be so appreciated. If you feel like saying something nice at ALPmusicals on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook, you can. If you feel like liking on Facebook or on Twitter, when I say like on Facebook, if you can like our YouTube link for the thing that you're watching right now, it'll mean that it gets suggested to more people. If you can retweet the link saying you've watched it, all of it is helpful. All of it helps build the bonfire. If you fancy buying a ticket, donating to alpmusicals.com/tickets, it would really help. Like, it will enable us to do some amazing things through the rest of this year with our Writers Fund that the money is going towards, the Amplify Fund. So I've thanked Chris, I've thanked Matt, I thank you for being here. I've told you the ways in which you can help, but mostly the ways in which you can help is support new musical theatre, support writers. Look around. They're everywhere. They're all over social media. They're writing the next great hit musical, and most people haven't heard of them yet, and you can get there first. So thank you for being here, and thank you for doing that. And see you on August the 18th for Signal Online 9. Bye-bye.